Oh, hello there. Welcome to Auto Archive. We've got a humongous stack of back issues of Car Styling magazine. Let's dive into one of the cool ones and see what sorts of interesting car information we can find that has otherwise never been uploaded to the internet. The interesting one that we've got today is issue 61. This is the November 1987 issue, which I think means it's the Frankfurt Auto Show issue. There's a lot of cool stuff in it. We're just going to mostly look at one car in particular, and it's the cover car, the Chrysler Portofino by Lamborghini. Of course, we can already see that this is an awesome design sketch showing the unique feature of this car. Yeah, it's got four doors that all go up. It's a four-door sedan, and it's a Chrysler, even though it has Lamborghini logos all over it. Indeed, we can see this is the Chrysler Pentastar with a little Lamborghini logo and bull in the inside. So why does that be a thing that exists? Well, for a time in the late 80s into the early 90s, Chrysler owned Lamborghini, and that produced all sorts of strange things like engineering work, which I think went into the original Dodge Viper, and Lamborghini getting a Formula One team. And it also meant that this weird Chrysler concept could exist that had Lamborghini doors front and rear, which is so cool. I can't think of a single other production car which ever had it. How does it work to open them both up at the same time? I straight up have no idea. Though it was, I think, a Chrysler design, it had Lamborghini power in it. Note the manual transmission, and behind the driver and behind the rear passengers was a Lamborghini V8. Indeed, we can see the design is like super cool and very period correct for the late 80s. We've got a tail light that goes all the way around. We've got a spoiler that's like a Dodge Stealth. And we've got pretty much almost no other design at all, because smooth is better, I guess. Even though this is a Chrysler with Lamborghini power, it's not over the top, which is kind of one of the reasons why I like it so much. Now, sadly, this car never went into production, and indeed, the Lamborghini-Chrysler connection didn't really make a ton of sense. And after a few years, the two companies parted ways, and Lamborghini wandered in the wilderness until Volkswagen and Audi showed up, and everything got boring again. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff to take in, like the polka-dotted steering wheel and the fact that parts of the car are yellow. Now, there are a few other interesting things in this issue. It's impossible to look at an old issue of Car Styling magazine and only look at the things that you want to really look at, because there's all sorts of cool coverage of the Frankfurt Motor Show. Here's a Trezor, the original, the first time that we saw the BMW Z1, and this Zender. If you know what a Zender is, shout out. It's tight. We also get full design history of the Alpha 164, and if we flip through, there's actually another car that I really wanted to talk about, because we get to see in these car stylings, of course, my favorite part are the vintage ads, and this is the Mitsubishi Mirage Cyborg. Now, we did get the Mirage in America. Indeed, this one even has California plates on it, but it was never called the Cyborg here. In this, we get to see a weird Dirty Dancing homage, and also a bunch of ways that the car could have looked. Now, we all know how the car looked, but we never get to see that it might have had this like weird kind of sloping hatchback top, and exposed headlights, and all sorts of other interesting things. Like, look at all these cool people who they thought were going to be driving this car. Here's someone leaping out of the optional sunroof. And here's, I guess, who they thought was going to buy this car. Fishermen. Almost exclusively, or at least proportionally, 1/4 of the buyers of the Mitsubishi Mirage Cyborg were going to be fishermen. And we also get to see other fun stuff, like optional extras, including, it appears to be a table. So we're still in the bubble era of the Japanese economy, when they had a lot of money to burn. And we typically remember this as being overspending on engineering. There's a lot of overbuilt cars. We think of these as sort of bubble products. But also it meant they had a ton of money to spend on like marketing in weird ways that you don't really remember. So here are human representations of the different trim levels or inspirations for it. Here we've got Basic, which is a sad and lonely man. We've got Simple Townie, which are happy couples. We've got Swift, which is lonely people, but now they're together. And we've got Hot 41 Monster, which is cool. So another fun thing in this magazine, breezing over the Lamborghini LM002 office, is that they got to do general design trends, and that included everything down to the textiles. So prepare yourself for an incredibly 80s graphic segment from the Kawashima textile, and we get to see trends in the auto industry's car interior materials. So we get to see this Mercedes that has this kind of like cool tartan look, which honestly would make like a cool jumpsuit today, or a skirt, or like a high-waisted pant or something. And we get to see other things like you can remember what airplanes used to look like on the inside. And this is all being inspired by things like a tree and a weird carpet, which is just, I don't know, interesting stuff that you never would have gotten if you had only looked at these cars on Wikipedia or just jumped to some article about them. It puts the things like the Chrysler Portofino in a bit more context. If there's stuff that you think I missed or things that you can't believe I left out, send it in to tips@jalopnik.com. And if you have a line on some more back issues I could buy, yeah, email me too. Indeed, take care. Ciao.